To claim my fortune, my sister's classmate fabricated a child's paternity. But having never been intimate with her, I swiftly exposed her lie without a DNA test and used my wealth to destroy her life. Be me, 28-year-old mortician in Denver. Got an insane situation that needs to get unpacked. Been one hell of a week. Was living totally normal when my life decided to flip upside down. Alright, so this whole mess kicked off about a week ago. My sister Rachel started blowing up my phone. We've always been close since childhood. But this time her texts and calls weren't the usual checking up kind of thing. Instead, she was absolutely furious, demanding to know why I wasn't taking responsibility for something. Had no idea what she was talking about. Apparently, her college roommate and best friend Madison, 20, posted on Instagram claiming I got her pregnant. Me, her best friend's older brother, checked the post immediately, complete with pictures of positive pregnancy tests. She even tagged me in the post for good measure. Was completely floored. Like, what kind of alternate reality was this? Well, here's the thing. I've never even met Madison in person. The closest we've ever come to interacting is me seeing her on FaceTime calls with Rachel during holidays, or hearing Rachel talk about her now and then. That's it. Never spoken to her directly, let alone been in the same room with her, sitting in my office at the funeral home. Just finished paperwork for the day. Phone buzzing nonstop. Rachel treating this whole thing like it's already proven. She's not just upset. She's gone full detective mode. Convinced Madison is some kind of saint. Keeps saying Madison's a good Christian girl, and she would never make this up. Me still trying to process this circus, drinking my third cup of black coffee, hands shaking from all the stress. How do you even defend yourself against something this crazy? Try explaining everything to Rachel again. Tell her I've never even talked to Madison. Show her my empty Instagram DMs. She's not having any of it. Things get worse by the minute. Rachel starts throwing threats around. Says she'll tell our super traditional parents. If I don't help Madison financially, parents are old school Catholics, the type to believe everything they hear, would probably have a heart attack over this. Can't let that happen, but also can't give in to this madness. Staring at my phone screen, feeling my blood pressure rise. Madison didn't just tell a small lie. She created a whole damn movie plot. According to Rachel's angry texts, Madison claims we've been secret Instagram lovers. Says I flew to her college town 3 times. Claims we had romantic meetups at some fancy hotel. Now says I'm ghosting her after the pregnancy news. Even made up this clever detail about me deleting all our messages. How convenient. Never even been to her college town. Don't even know which hotel she's talking about. Never followed her on any social media. But Rachel's buying this soap opera script. Sitting in my car during lunch break. Almost choke on my sandwich. When Rachel sends another wall of texts, suggest getting a paternity test just to end this nightmare. But apparently that's offensive to Madison. Would insult her integrity? What integrity? If she's so sure I'm the dad, why not prove it? None of this adds up. But Rachel's acting like I'm the crazy one. For wanting actual proof, keep replaying everything in my head. While driving between funeral homes, Rachel and I used to be inseparable. Had matching tattoos when we were younger. Now she's choosing Madison over blood. She's not just taking sides, she's leading the charge against me. Her texts getting more aggressive. Every hour brings new accusations. Says I need to man up. Claims Madison's suffering enough. Meanwhile, I'm literally dealing with dead bodies at work. And this drama at the same time. Try explaining reality again. But it's like talking to a brick wall. With perfectly styled hair and a vendetta against logic. By now completely stuck in this mess. Sitting in my dark office after hours. Rain beating against the windows. No matter what I say, Rachel's convinced I'm guilty. And the worst part hits me. She's threatening to tell our parents. They're old school. The type to believe everything at first. While I know they'd eventually believe me, the stress and chaos it would bring isn't something I need right now. Already dealing with 3 funerals this week. Need to find a way to prove my innocence without dragging everyone else into this mess. But how? Madison's still refusing that paternity test. End of the day hits different. Mentally drained, emotionally exhausted. Everything hurts. Spent 5 hours arguing with Rachel, trying to get her to see reason. But it's like talking to a cemetery statue. Every time I push back, she comes at me harder. Says I'm dodging responsibility. Claims I'm disrespecting Madison. Meanwhile, I'm here, stuck wondering how someone could pull off a lie this big and actually make it stick. That night hits 2 a.m. Can't sleep? Sitting in my kitchen, staring at leftover Chinese takeout. Try to figure out my next move. Confronting Madison feels like a trap. Getting parents involved would be gasoline on fire. But doing nothing isn't an option either. Feel like I'm walking through my own morgue. One wrong move, and everything crashes down. All I know right now, need to find a way to clear my name. But how do you prove you didn't do something? When there's no evidence either way, feels impossible. The worst part of all this, the person pushing hardest against me is my own sister. The one person I thought would have my back is now leading the charge against me. Take another sip of cold coffee. Watch the city lights through my window. Wonder how many other people out there are dealing with their own personal hells. Next morning after the nightmare begins. Clock shows 6:30 a.m. Just finished morning prep at the funeral home. Check my phone during coffee break. Everything's exploded overnight. Notifications flooding my screen. Instagram's going crazy. Random numbers texting me. Madison's post about me went viral. Her pregnancy announcements everywhere. Dozens of comments from strangers. Some offering her support. Stay strong, mama. You don't need him, girl? Others are straight up attacking me, calling me every name in the book, accusing me of abandoning her. It's not just her followers anymore. My own Instagram's become a war zone. People tagging me everywhere. Posts, stories, comments. All demanding answers. Some of Rachel's friends jump in. People I've barely spoken to. They're all disgusted with me. One of them slides into my DMs, writing a whole essay about how men like me ruin lives, says I better step up before it's too late. Can't believe how fast this spread. Sitting in my office, staring at embalming equipment. Easier dealing with the dead than this social media circus? This isn't just some small drama anymore. Madison's declared full-scale war, and I can't even defend myself properly. No proof to show. Just my word against hers. But when you're labeled the bad guy, no one wants to hear your side. Things get even worse. Rachel joins the online crusade. She's not just commenting on Madison's post, making her own now. Posts a story about family betrayal, how disappointed she is in certain people, obviously aimed at me, starts tagging me in deep posts. Stuff like, sometimes people show you who they really are, and blood isn't thicker than accountability. It's a full public execution, and I'm the main attraction. Never been one for social media drama. Idea of fighting back online feels wrong. Plus, what would I even say? Got nothing concrete to back me up. Just my word against Madison's. And she's running the whole show. Throughout the day. Phone won't stop buzzing. Friends start calling. Want to know what's going on? Most believe me when I explain, but admit it looks bad from outside. You need to clear this up. One friend says, while I'm literally preparing a body for viewing, how am I supposed to clear anything up? When Madison won't take that paternity test? Feel trapped in a nightmare, where truth doesn't matter anymore. By afternoon, the stress is crushing. Can't focus on work. Phone keeps lighting up. Every notification makes me jump. People I haven't talked to in years, all messaging me, asking if it's true. Some try to be supportive. Most just want the gossip, or straight up judge me. Finally snap and block Madison and Rachel. Hope it stops the flood of messages. It doesn't. Madison keeps posting updates, still tagging me. People keep finding ways to reach me. It's relentless. Like dealing with an open casket. That won't stay closed. Then Rachel sends me this massive text. I'm in the middle of a funeral consultation. Have to excuse myself to read it. She's accusing me of being a coward. Says blocking them is proof of guilt. If you had nothing to hide, you wouldn't be running. Going on about how I'm making everything worse. Says the least I can do is talk to Madison directly. Work something out with her. That last part makes my blood boil. Work something out? What's there to work out? Haven't done anything. Standing in the funeral home bathroom. Gripping my phone so hard it might break. Can't believe Rachel still can't see how insane this is. She's not just defending Madison anymore. Going out of her way to make me look worse, even though she knows for a fact I've never met Madison in person. What kind of Twilight Zone is this? Where your own sister believes a stranger over you. What really pushes me over the edge? Discover Madison's newest posts while on lunch break. Eating a cold sandwich in my office? She's posting screenshots now, not of our supposed conversations. Because those don't exist. Instead, posting random stuff. Pictures of pregnancy tests. Doctor's appointment confirmations. Some vague texts that don't even involve me. Captions them with dramatic stuff. This is what I'm dealing with while he hides. Some people think they can erase their mistakes. But life doesn't work that way. People are eating it up like candy. Comments keep rolling in. More and more people tagging me in their posts and stories. Feels like I'm being publicly executed for a crime I didn't commit. Can't take it anymore. Step outside into the cold air. Call Rachel one last time. Try to talk some sense into her. Big mistake? She starts yelling immediately. Says Madison is a good person. Doesn't deserve to be treated like this. Tell her to stop and think. How insane this all sounds. How could I be the father when I've never even met Madison? But Rachel keeps doubling down. You're just mad because you got caught. She doesn't need to lie about something like this. Finally lose my patience. Hang up on her. First time I've ever done that. But can't handle this anymore. Even after the call, can't shake the anger, the frustration. My own sister, who used to share secrets with me, now leading this witch hunt against her own blood. That night can't sleep again. Sitting in my dark apartment at 1 a.m., cup of whiskey in hand, going through Madison's Instagram, Trying to figure out why she chose me? Is it because of my job? Funeral directors make decent money. Maybe because I'm Rachel's brother? An easy target to reach? Or just random bad luck? Whatever the reason, she's turned my life into a complete disaster. No, I can't just let this slide. But also don't know how to fight back. Without making everything worse, if I lash out online, it'll just add fuel to the fire. If I stay quiet, people keep assuming I'm guilty. Either way, Madison's winning, and I'm stuck in the middle of a storm I didn't create. Head is spinning from all this. Stress is overwhelming. Like having 10 funerals in one day, can't see a way out. All I know is, need to find some kind of proof. Something that shows everyone the truth. But right now, feels like I'm completely alone in this fight. That's why I'm writing this at 3 a.m., staring at my computer screen. While the city sleeps outside, could really use some outside perspective on how to handle this mess before it completely ruins my life. Next morning hits different. Just finished morning prep with a new client. Things have escalated even more. Hands trembling while making coffee. Check my phone. Instant regret. Notifications exploding like never before. Instagram's gone completely nuclear. Texts from random numbers flooding in. Madison's post about me, the one where she tagged me, picked up serious steam overnight. Dozens of new comments. Many from complete strangers. Some trying to support her. Stay strong, mama. You're better off without him. Real men don't run from responsibility. Others straight up attacking me. Calling me every horrible name imaginable. Accusing me of being the worst kind of person. For abandoning her. But it's not just her followers anymore. My own Instagram has become ground zero for a full-scale attack. People tagging me everywhere. Posts, stories, comments. All demanding answers. All of Rachel's college friends. People I've barely said hello to. Now jumping on the hate train. One of them even DMs me. Writes this novel-length paragraph about how men like me ruin lives. How I better step up before it's too late. Standing in my office, looking at the morning fog outside. Can't believe how quickly everything spiraled. This isn't just some petty accusation anymore. Madison has effectively declared war, and I can't even defend myself properly because I have no proof. All I can do is tell the truth. But when someone's already painted you as the villain, no one wants to hear your side of the story. Things get even worse by lunch break, cleaning my tools at the mortuary. When I see Rachel's join the online attack, she's not just commenting on Madison's posts anymore. She's making her own crusade now. Posts a dramatic story about family betrayal. How disappointed she is in certain people, obviously talking about me, keeps tagging me in these deep posts, sharing vague quotes like, "Sometimes people show you who they really are," and blood isn't thicker than accountability. Real philosophical hours with Rachel. It's a full-on public shaming campaign, and I'm the main exhibit. Never been one for social media drama. Idea of clapping back online feels wrong. Plus, what would I even post? Got nothing concrete to back me up. Just my word against Madison's. And she's already running the whole narrative. Throughout the day, phone keeps blowing up. Can't even focus on work. Few friends call to check what's happening. Most believe me when I explain. But even they admit, it looks really bad from the outside. You need to clear this up fast. One friend tells me, while I'm literally preparing for a wake, how am I supposed to clear anything up when the only person who could prove I'm not involved? Madison's refusing to get that paternity test feels like I'm trapped in a nightmare, where the truth doesn't even matter anymore. By afternoon, the stress is crushing me. Can't even focus on basic embalming work. Keep making rookie mistakes. Phone won't stop lighting up with notifications. Every buzz makes me jump. People I haven't spoken to in years, all sliding into my DMs. Some asking if it's true. Others just being nosy. Most straight up judgmental. Finally snap while doing paperwork. Block both Madison and Rachel on Instagram. Hope it stops the flood of messages. Spoiler, it doesn't. Madison keeps posting updates. Still finding ways to tag me. People keep finding new ways to reach me. It's relentless, like a zombie horde that won't stay dead. Then Rachel sends me this huge text, accuses me of being cowardly for blocking them, says it's just more proof that I'm guilty, types out stuff like, "If you had nothing to hide, you wouldn't be running from this. The least you can do is talk to Madison directly. Work something out." That last part really gets under my skin. Work something out? What's there to work out? When I haven't done anything, Rachel can't even see how ridiculous this is. She's not just defending Madison, she's actively trying to make me look worse, even though she knows damn well I've never met Madison in person. What really sends me over the edge, though, Madison starts posting these screenshots, not of our supposed conversations, because those don't exist, but random stuff like her pregnancy tests, doctor's appointments, vague texts that don't involve me at all, captions them with dramatic stuff like, "This is what I'm dealing with," while he hides. Some people think they can erase their mistakes, but life doesn't work that way. People eating it up like free candy. Comments keep rolling in. More people tagging me in their posts and stories. Feels like I'm being publicly crucified for something I had no part in. By end of day, can't take it anymore. Last client just left the funeral home, sitting alone in my office. Decide to make one last attempt. Call Rachel, hoping to talk sense into her. Biggest mistake of the day. Call doesn't go well. She starts yelling immediately, going on about how Madison is such a good person, how she doesn't deserve to be treated like this. Try to keep my voice steady. Tell her to stop and think about how insane this all sounds. How could I possibly be the father when I've never even met Madison in person? But Rachel just keeps doubling down. You're just mad because you got caught. She doesn't need to lie about something like this. Can't take it anymore. End up hanging up on her. First time I've ever done that. Call leaves me shaking. Can't shake the anger, the frustration. That night, go through Madison's Instagram again. Try to figure out why she picked me as her target. Is it because I have a stable job? Because I'm Rachel's brother? Easy person to reach? Or just random bad luck? Whatever the reason, she's turned my life into a complete disaster. No, I can't just let this slide, but also don't know how to fight back without making everything worse. If I lash out online, it'll just add fuel to the fire. If I stay quiet, people keep assuming I'm guilty. Either way, Madison's winning, and I'm stuck in the middle of a storm I didn't create. Head is spinning. Stress is overwhelming. Can't see a way out. All I know is, need to find some kind of proof, something that would show everyone the truth. But right now, feel completely alone in this fight. That's why I'm typing this at 3 a.m. Can definitely use some outside perspective. Just when thought this mess couldn't get weirder, it definitely did. But things finally starting to get clearer. Other morning, wake up at crack of dawn. Getting ready for early morning viewing. Check my phone out of habit. Unexpected DM on Instagram. From some guy named Tom. At first think it's another hater. Almost ignore it. But something feels different about this one. Guy introduces himself. Says he's Madison's ex-boyfriend. Claims he has something important to tell me. Honestly paranoid at this point. This whole situation has me suspicious of everyone. Not in the mood for more drama, but decide to hear him out. Tom explains everything. Says he and Madison were together for 6 years. All through high school, into college too. They broke up recently. Wasn't a friendly split either. According to him, relationship ended because Madison cheated. Met some guy on a dating app. Tom found out through mutual friends. Confronted her about it. She admitted everything. That was the end of their relationship. But here's where it gets interesting. Standing in my office, coffee getting cold, as I read the most insane part. Tom says Madison tried the same thing with him. Just a few weeks ago, after they broke up, she called him, told him she was pregnant, insisted the baby was his, started pressuring him to propose, threw in this whole speech about how they could make it work, how they owed it to the baby, to be a family. My hands are shaking. While reading his messages, everything's starting to make sense now. Tom tells me he didn't believe her, knew she had cheated, had no clue how many other guys were involved, says he told her straight up, get a paternity test first, before even having that conversation. Madison's response? Refused completely, called it demeaning, accused him of not trusting her. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's when Tom cut all ties, told her he wanted nothing to do with her. The way Tom describes it, Madison was grasping at straws. After he shut her down, must have realized she didn't have a backup plan. So when Tom was out of the picture, she started looking for someone else to pin the pregnancy on, and that's where I came in. Tom's theory makes sense. Says Madison picked me because I was an easy target. I'm stable, have a good job, and I'm her best friend's brother. Gave her a connection she could use to make her story more believable. Then Tom drops another bomb. Says Madison mentioned me before. During their relationship, apparently thought I was cute. Joked about what it would be like to date me. Standing in the morgue prep room, reading all this, feeling sick to my stomach. It's weird hearing that, but makes sense in a twisted way. Madison wasn't just lying randomly. She carefully chose her target. And thanks to her scheming, my life is in complete disarray. Tom says he reached out because he felt bad for me. Saw Madison's Instagram posts, knew she was lying, figured I was going through same thing he did. Wanted to help, don't know whether to be grateful or angry that Madison's done this before. And now, dragging me into it, Tom sends me screenshots of their conversations about the pregnancy, taking my lunch break to read through them. Half-eaten sandwich forgotten on my desk. Messages are almost identical to what Rachel described Madison saying about me. Claims about ghosting, accusations of erasing messages, refusing to step up. It's like she has a script. She's following word for word, just tweaking it enough to fit her new target. The more I read, the angrier I get. Madison isn't scared or desperate. She's calculating. After going through everything Tom sent, ask him what he thinks I should do. He says he didn't blow up the whole thing. When it happened to him, because he still cared about Madison, even after what she did. But he's not emotionally tied to this anymore. Tells me to take whatever steps I need to protect myself. Sitting in my office, staring at the cemetery through the window. Get an idea. If Madison's refusing that paternity test, maybe I can use Tom's story to force her hand. Ask if he'd be willing to share his side with Rachel or Madison's parents. He hesitates at first, eventually agrees. Says he doesn't want direct involvement, but fine with me sharing the screenshots. If it helps clear my name, finally feel like I have something solid. It's not proof that I wasn't involved, but it's proof that Madison's done this before. Shows her story isn't as airtight as she makes it seem. Spend rest of the day organizing everything. Between preparing 2 bodies for viewing, working on Tom's evidence, carefully arrange all his messages, put together the screenshots, create a detailed timeline of events. Want to make sure I have all facts straight before confronting Rachel or anyone else. Work late into the night. Morgue is quiet except for the hum of equipment. Perfect place to focus. Finally finish drafting message to Rachel. Explain everything Tom told me. Attach all the screenshots as proof. Keep it short and factual. No emotional stuff. Just the hard evidence. Take a deep breath. Hit send. Then wait. Clock ticking on the wall. No immediate response from Rachel. Not surprising, really. Figure she needs time to process. If she won't believe me, maybe she'll believe someone who's been in the exact same position. Sit there in my office. Whirlwind of emotions hitting me. Relief at finally having solid proof. Yet frustrated things spiraled this far. Tom's help is a step forward. But know the road ahead. Still going to be messy. Next morning. Wake up to Rachel's response. Hands shaking while opening it. Her reply is frustratingly short and completely dismissive. Claims Tom's screenshots prove nothing. Says Madison already told her about him. Calls him a toxic ex who's just trying to ruin her life. Then hits me with the classic, why would Madison lie? What does she have to gain? That question nearly makes me throw my phone across the embalming room. At this point, it's crystal clear. Rachel's not going to change her mind. She's completely sold on Madison's story. No amount of evidence or logic going to convince her otherwise. Realize I need a new approach. Have to bypass Rachel entirely. Only people left who might rein Madison in are her parents. Not thrilled about the idea. Never spoken to Madison's parents before. According to Tom, they're not exactly warm and fuzzy. They're intense, he said. Not sure what that means exactly, but feels like my only option left. Get Madison's mom's contact info from Tom, along with his warning about their strictness. Spend the morning between services, putting together everything I want to say. Write out complete timeline of events. Compile all the screenshots Tom sent. Rehearse how I'll explain the situation. Don't want to come across aggressive or too emotional. Just need to be clear and factual. Around lunchtime, finally work up the nerve. Step into my private office, away from grieving families. Call Madison's mom. She answers on second ring. Sounds polite but wary, like she can't figure out why her daughter's roommate's brother is calling her. Introduce myself quickly. Get straight to the point. Explain how Madison's been accusing me of being her baby's father, but refusing to get a paternity test. Tell her about Tom too. How he went through nearly identical situation just weeks earlier. Mention that Tom has proof Madison's lying. Offer to send her the screenshots. Long silence on the other end. Can hear her breathing. Feel like I'm delivering bad news to a family. Something I'm unfortunately used to. When Madison's mom finally speaks, her tone has completely changed. Says she had no idea any of this was happening. Apologizes for the stress it's caused me. Asks me to send her everything I have. Screenshots, timelines, anything. That could help her understand what's going on. Agree immediately. Hands still shaking as I hang up. Forward her the email I prepared. Same one Rachel dismissed. Hour feels like eternity. Working on paperwork to stay busy. Then Madison's mom calls back. This time she sounds livid. Not at me, but at Madison. Says she had no idea. Her daughter was capable of something like this. Assures me they'll handle it immediately. Apologizes again for the trouble. Promises to keep me updated. Hang up. Feeling mix of relief and unease. Good to finally have someone on my side. Someone who can actually do something. But still no idea how Madison or Rachel will react. When they find out, I went to her parents. Next day at work, between showing caskets to clients, Madison's parents call again. They've spoken to Madison, confirmed everything I suspected. She lied about me being the father. They apologize profusely for all the trouble she's caused. Say they're taking steps to address her behavior. Madison's back home with them now. Won't be returning to college for the foreseeable future. Then they tell me something interesting. Madison tried to shift blame. Claimed Tom and I were ganging up on her, trying to make her look bad. Her parents aren't buying it though. Say they're deeply disappointed in her, planning to cut her off financially. Unless she gets her act together, Hearing all this feels surreal. Just a week ago, was minding my own business, dealing with normal funeral home stuff. Now I'm at the center of this ridiculous drama, like I'm living in some weird, alternate reality. By end of day, feel things finally starting to settle. Still can't shake this feeling though. This isn't over yet. Rachel isn't the type to let things go. Sure, when she finds out, she won't stay silent. And Madison's already proven she's willing to go to extreme lengths to get what she wants. For now though, just grateful to have some breathing room. Standing in the quiet funeral home after everyone's left, don't know what future holds, but hope this is the beginning of the end of this nightmare. Remember that hope I mentioned? Only lasted about 24 hours. Next morning after parents' call, just finished morning embalming. Rachel shows up unannounced at my apartment, still wearing my work clothes. Haven't even had breakfast. She's absolutely fuming. First words out of her mouth. I can't believe you called Madison's parents. Do you even care about anyone but yourself? Don't even let her inside. Stand in doorway like a bouncer. Tell her flat out, not going to have this conversation again. Did what I had to do to clear my name. If she can't understand that, she needs to leave. But Rachel isn't backing down. Never does. Accuses me of ruining Madison's life. Says she's been forced to leave school. Parents threatening to cut her off financially. Apparently, Madison confessed to lying about me being the father, but tried to frame it differently. Said it was a desperate move because she was scared. Didn't know how to handle the situation. Tell Rachel that Madison brought this on herself. If she hadn't lied about me, none of this would have happened. But Rachel doesn't want to hear it. Says I should have just let it blow over. Instead of escalating things by going to Madison's parents, keeps repeating same lines about how I overreacted. Made things worse for everyone. At one point, she even says, "You've completely destroyed any chance Madison had of fixing her life. Do you even feel bad about what you've done?" That's the final straw for me. Tell Rachel straight up. If she can't see how messed up this is, how Madison's actions hurt not just me, but also Tom and her own parents, then maybe she's not as rational as I thought she was. Rachel gets absolutely mad, storms off down the hallway, slams the building door so hard, pictures rattle on my wall. Figure that's the end of it, at least for today. Go back to getting ready for work. But later that evening, get a call from Mom. Feel my stomach drop. Rachel went straight to our parents, spun the whole thing to make me look like the villain. Told them I'd gone after Madison, ruined her life, conveniently left out the part where Madison lied about me. Being the father of her baby, Mom's upset, asking why I didn't come to her. And Dad first? Before taking things into my own hands? Spend the next hour between preparing bodies, explaining the entire situation, start to finish. How Madison lied, how she refused paternity test, how Rachel sided with her without any proof, how Tom's story confirmed Madison was a serial liar. Mom listens quietly. Can tell she's overwhelmed. She's not great with conflict. This is way more drama than she's used to dealing with. Dad's different story though. When he gets on the phone, he's definitely on my side. Says he can't believe Rachel has been supporting someone who lied about something so serious. Especially angry that she kept it from them. Until now, says he's going to have a serious talk with Rachel. Won't tolerate this behavior. In our family, Dad's support gives me sense of relief. Finally, someone in family gets it. Next day brings new drama though. Rachel calls while I'm at work, furious as always. Says our parents chewed her out for siding with Madison. They threatened to stop paying for her college if she doesn't apologize to me, and cut ties with Madison completely. Standing in morgue cold room, listening to her rage. She's accusing me of turning parents against her. Says I'm just trying to ruin her life too. Tell her straight up, you're the one who dragged them into this, not me. If you can't deal with consequences, that's not my problem. That doesn't go over well? She starts yelling about how I'm selfish and vindictive. End up hanging up on her. Over next few days, things between Rachel and parents go from bad to worse. Dad's adamant that Rachel needs to take responsibility for her actions. Mom's caught in middle, trying to keep peace. Rachel refuses to apologize, won't even acknowledge she was wrong to believe Madison. Instead doubles down, says she was just trying to support a friend in need. Doesn't understand why everyone is ganging up on her. Then Dad drops the hammer. Tells Rachel she has until end of week to cut ties with Madison and apologize to me, or they stop paying her tuition. Rachel calls me immediately after, right as I'm closing up for the day, blaming me for everything. Says I'm tearing the family apart, that I should have just kept quiet instead of escalating things. Can't even argue with her anymore. Just tell her straight up. Not going to feel bad for standing up for myself. Tell her she needs to take a hard look at who she's really supporting. Madison lied to you, to me, and to everyone else. Stop being a fool. If you can't see that, then I don't know what else to say. By end of week, Rachel still hasn't apologized. True to their word, parents cut her off financially, just like what happened to her friend that she supports. She calls me one last time, crying and begging to talk to parents on her behalf. Says she can't afford to stay in school without their help, that she doesn't want to lose everything over one mistake. Tell her I'm not the one she needs to apologize to. It's our parents. They're the ones making the decision, not me. But Rachel refuses to see it that way. Keeps saying I started all of this, that it's my fault. Her life is falling apart after that call. Finally, make the decision. Block Rachel's number. Can't keep dealing with her constant blame and refusal to take accountability. As much as it hurts to cut her off, know its only way to protect my own mental health. In weeks that followed, parents and I grow closer. Whole ordeal was stressful, but made us realize how important it is to stick together, support each other. Dad even reaches out to Tom, thanks him for coming forward with his story. As for Rachel, haven't heard from her since that last phone call. Parents tried reaching out a couple of times, but she didn't respond. Don't know if she's still in touch with Madison or what she's doing now, but hope she eventually realizes how toxic that friendship was. Feel like I've done everything I could to set the record straight. Madison's lies nearly destroyed my life, and Rachel's blind loyalty made it even worse. If cutting ties with both of them is what it takes to move on, then so be it. For now, just focused on rebuilding my life, leaving this nightmare behind. Been diving into work more. Funny how dealing with death daily feels more normal now than what I just went through. If I hear anything new about Rachel, I'll post an update. But for now, think this chapter's finally closing. Been about 3 weeks now since everything with Rachel and Madison finally blew up. Things have been quieter, but not exactly peaceful. Even though Rachel and I aren't speaking, her absence still lingers, like a ghost in an empty room. Never thought we'd reach this point, where our relationship would be this broken. Couple days after Rachel's meltdown, parents give me an update. Apparently Rachel went back to school, had to take out student loans to cover tuition and living expenses. Dad says she's not responding to their calls or texts anymore. Doesn't surprise me. Knowing Rachel, she's probably trying to prove a point by cutting them off completely. Part of me feels bad for her. No taking out loans and juggling work while in college isn't easy, but at the same time, she made her choice. She decided to stand by Madison, even after truth came out. Now she's dealing with consequences. As for Madison, haven't heard single word from her. According to Tom, who's been keeping tabs on situation, Madison's parents have her on lockdown. She's back home, not allowed to go anywhere, unless it's something important, like doctor's appointment. Tom mentioned her parents, still furious about her lying, but letting her stay under their roof, as long as she follows their rules. According to Tom's updates, Madison's still trying to play victim. She's telling people she only lied about me because she was scared, didn't know how to handle the situation, conveniently leaving out the part where she refused to take paternity test and tried to manipulate multiple people into taking responsibility. The craziest part, though, Madison still hasn't figured out who actual father is. From what Tom told me, she's too afraid to contact the guy she hooked up with on the dating app, still refusing to get paternity test. It's like she's just waiting for problem to magically solve itself. Been trying to move on from all this, but it's been tough. Even though accusations have stopped, the damage they caused hasn't completely gone away. Some people who saw Madison's Instagram posts still think there's truth to her story, even though she admitted she lied. Social media doesn't come with a rewind button. Once something's out there, it sticks like formaldehyde on skin. My parents and I have grown closer, though, through all this mess. They've been checking in more often. We've even started having weekly family dinners together. It's comforting to have their support, especially after feeling so isolated when everything was spiraling out of control. Last week during family dinner, Mom brings up Rachel again. We're sitting at their old oak table, same one we've had since childhood. Rachel's empty chair like an open wound. Mom says she misses her, wishes things hadn't escalated to the point where Rachel felt need to cut herself off from family. Dad's different story, though, still angry about whole thing. Thinks Rachel needs to learn hard way that actions have consequences. For me, feel like it's not my responsibility to reach out to Rachel. She's the one who chose to believe Madison over me, even when truth was right there, until she's ready to admit she was wrong. Don't see how we can move forward. Hardest part of all this is accepting that relationship I had with my sister might never be the same. We were close growing up, always thought we'd have each other's backs, no matter what, but this whole ordeal has shown me side of her I didn't know existed. A side that values loyalty to friends over family. Even when friend is blatantly wrong, like dealing with bodies at work, sometimes things just can't be restored to what they once were. If there's one silver lining to this whole mess, it's forced me to reevaluate all my relationships, realized some hard truths. Even people you think closest to won't always have your back when it really matters, like how bodies tell their own stories. People show their true nature. When pressure hits, hard pill to swallow. But better to know truth than live in ignorance. As for what's next, taking things one day at a time, main focus is rebuilding my life, surrounding myself with people who genuinely care about me, not holding out hope for apology from Rachel or Madison. Accepted that I can't control their actions, only my own. This year has been messy, painful, and exhausting, like longest funeral procession ever, but ready to move forward. Done what I can to clear my name. Now it's up to people involved to deal with fallout. All I can do is keep moving forward, hope for better days ahead. Standing in my office, looking out at cemetery, realize sometimes you have to let things die to make room for new life. That's one thing this job has taught me well.